How do you define a stranger to a child?
Well, to a very young child, we talk about the people you see every day. And when you look at the scale of strangers, how many people in the course of a day or a week do you see? Sometimes your family members are your most frequent people that you know and see. They're not strangers. But neither is the person that you go that checks out your groceries every week. So there may be a lot of people you sort of know who are not strangers, but yet you really don't know them. So we talk with very young children about the scale of strangers. Sometimes family members that you just see once a year, you really don't know. So we try to make children aware that there are people in their lives that they know very well, but there are a lot of people in their lives that they see often, but they also don't know them. So probably when we talk to children, we talk about your teacher at the beginning of the year is a stranger. But by the end of the year, she's not a stranger, or he's not a stranger.
Sure. What are common phrases that predators use to lure children?
Well, we've heard a lot about certainly people who do ploys like, can you help me find my puppy? Or, hey, I got an Xbox in the car here, do you want it? What we really want children to do, because they're always going to be cloyed with things they want.
True.
And to be helpful. But why, this is, the important thing is, why would an adult ask you, a young person, to help you find a puppy? Wouldn't you go ask another adult? And think about, why would someone want to give you something that's worth a lot of money? Does that make sense? So we're asking children to understand that the ploys that people use are things they need to think about. And to, why would someone want me to take that or help them? And so once they do get a sense that maybe a stranger might use some sort of ploy, they know that they have to think about it. They have to think about, I don't know the city well. Why would you ask a child directions when you could ask an adult for those same directions?
Okay. What are the most common places that child abductors hang out to lure children away?
Well, I think anywhere there are either not very many people or a lot of people. People have the opportunity presented better to abduct when people are in places in which they are not paying as much attention to their children.
Kind of like a mall or a park?
Mm-hmm. Anywhere there are a lot of people together. Could be a fairground, it could be certainly an event, or it could be shopping, or it could be in a park where there are either a lot of people or your child's alone.
If my child is playing outside, what rules can I provide to reduce the risk of being abducted without scaring my child?
Buddy system. Nobody should be out playing by themselves, except in your own backyard or in your grandparents' backyard. But it is important that kids understand they need to be in places that are open public places. They need to be with someone.
What should I do if I think my child is missing?
Immediately, 911. And call out, yell, scream, fire, anything to get the attention of other people quickly, because on-site is the most important. And then, of course, you've got to let the authorities know.
What do I tell my child when a convicted predator lives nearby?
Make them aware. We don't know always by the site listings of convicted sex offenders. We don't know if some of them are child predators or have another kind of reason why they are designated as such. But we can tell our children, this is a person who has been convicted. I want you to be attentive to this house and know that you cannot go here. door to door or hang out nearby.
Okay. How do people educate your child of the danger of strangers and still allow them the freedom to play in the neighborhood?
Well, there are some common sense things about it. We do know that more children are hurt by people they know. So strangers, although a real risk and can be tragic risk, the person that's most likely to hurt them is somebody they do know. But with that in mind, children need to be able to feel they can explore their world. And if they have a friend they can explore that with, or a parent, they should feel comfortable doing so. Knowing that somebody's using some strange sort of ploy with you, looking at you oddly, following you, touching you in a crowd would be an indication that's somebody you want to get away from and tell someone about.
Okay. How do you prepare your child that the common phrases used by predators, i.e., your puppy ran away and your mom told me to help you find him, are not the truth?
By talking to them, by sitting there and practicing. Sometimes you have to practice. With a very young child, role-playing is really a good way to do that.
Definitely.
And you can do that anytime. But children don't need to be, I think, scared. They need to be educated.
True.
And I think by sitting there and working out with your child some of the possible ways to get away from a situation or what they might hear, so that they can practice in their own minds, too, what they would do should that situation ever come up.
Okay. What safeguards do you put in place to ensure your child is safe with babysitters?
Well, I think you need to check with some of the other families that person has babysat with. I think you do need to do references. You do need to check out whether or not that babysitter has had safety training.
Mm-hmm.
So many places offer safety certification for young babysitters and certainly for older adult babysitters. So I think you need to check in on that person and who they've been with in the past.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.